Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Charlotte, and today I'm going to teach you guys how to turn this washcloth pattern into this. So you can make a blanket. Now this is obviously a very small scale, but I have to show you on a small scale. But you can make it as big or as small as you want, but you can turn the square into a rectangle. It's super easy. I'm going to show you how to do that. And it is beginner friendly. So if you're just learning how to knit, you don't really need to know much. You need to know let's see, what do you need to know? You need to know how to cast on, how to do the knit stitch, and how to do a yarn over, and how to knit two together. And that's pretty much it, but it's really super simple. And I'm kind of excited to show you guys how to do this. Now, I have made a knitted blanket like this in this pattern before. Again, small scale, just to show you, you can make it into a rectangle for a blanket. I want to say thank you for everyone who has subscribed to my channel, and thank you for liking and commenting. And if you feel that you may want to do that again, I would appreciate it. So let's just get started. Today, because we're doing a very small example, I'm just using some DPNs. If you're going to make a blanket, you're going to want like probably a 40 or a 36 or just a really long circular needles. So you're going to want to do that. And you're also going to need some stitch markers. I prefer the kind that close, that you can clip on just for this project, because when you turn it into a rectangle, well, I'll explain when we get there, but a stitch marker that you can like clip on. Okay, and I think we're ready. So let's just go. Now, to make this example, when you start out, it's all going to start out the same. So if you just want to make a washcloth, you can just make a washcloth. But you're going to do a long tail cast on, and you're only going to do 4. Now, if you are absolutely brand new, I will try to do this a little slow. We'll see. You're going to make a slip knot. Here's my yarn. Here's the end of it. All I do to make a slip knot is I just wrap it around my finger, put that in front, and slide that off. I'm going to go ahead and put my needle in there. I may refer to this as a crochet hook because I've been crocheting a lot lately. This is a needle. I'm aware of it, but I may flub. So just a warning. Now to do a long tail cast on, what you're going to do is, okay, you have, let's see. I know a lot of you probably already know how to do this, but just in case there's someone out there that doesn't, they want to knit their first blanket, let's do this. Okay, you have your tail right here. It's kind of facing you. You have your working yarn behind. You're going to put your finger in the middle, right in between. You're going to grab the working yarn coming from the ball with your 3 fingers. You're going to grab this with your thumb, or no, you're going to put your thumb in there too. Doing this in slow motion. Okay, so you're going to put your thumb and your first finger in the middle, grabbing both ends like so, and you're going to pull it down like that. So you have like a little slingshot, like you're getting ready to slingshot something. Then you're going to take your needle and you're going to go under the string that's coming in front of your thumb, pick that up, just slide it under there. Then you're going to come over and you're going to take this strand that's coming from your finger, you're going to pick it up and you're going to put it through the strands that are around your thumb. Bring it up, let go of your thumb, put your thumb back in the middle and pull tight. Now, did you get that? Okay, we'll do it one more time. Again, grab your yarn with your fingers, put your thumb and your index finger in the middle, slingshot it like you're going to slingshot something. Go underneath that first strand of your thumb, come up, grab this strand of yarn that is going around your finger, kind of grab it with your needle, and then go down into the strands that are around your thumb, bring it around, let go of your thumb, put it back in the middle, pull tight. Well, not too tight, but you know what I'm saying. One more time. Open it, slingshot it around your thumb, the strand around your finger, bring it through, pull up. There we go. That's 4. If that was confusing, there's a lot of videos on YouTube that'll show you how to do that, or you can just slow that part down and do it again. Okay, we have 4. We have casted on 4 onto our needle. Now we're going to knit. Now, this pattern, like I said, it all starts out the same. And you can make a washcloth this way. So if you don't want to make a blanket, you can at least make a washcloth. So what you're going to do for the first row is you're just going to knit all 4 of these stitches. So here, to knit, all I did was I have my 4 stitches. I'm going to take my needle. I'm going to put it in to that stitch like that. I'm going to take the working yarn that's coming from the ball, not the tail. Do not get those two confused. You will regret it. And you're going to wrap it around that needle that you inserted. Bring it through. Slide it off. Now, I usually work with different needles, so these needles I'm not really too comfortable with, but that's okay. So again, we're just going to knit these first 4 stitches, insert into that stitch like that, wrap it, pull it through, slide it off. And the last one can be a little tricky just because it was a slip knot, but that's okay. Wrap it, pull it off. Okay, that was our first row. Now for the second row, it's the same thing. We're just going to knit all the stitches, nothing fancy yet. So again, we're just going to put through the first stitch and knit them. Like so. Okay, now we're increasing, and when we increase to make the size bigger, like we're starting it out looking like so. We're starting right in through here. So this is how it's going to start out. We have to increase our sides. So how we do that is each round is going to be the exact same until you're ready to start decreasing or you're ready to make a rectangle. But as long as you're still growing in size, every single row will be the exact same, and it's going to be just like this. You're going to knit 2. So here's 1. Here's 2. And then you're going to do a yarn over. And a yarn over is just adding in an extra stitch that's going to leave like a gap, but it's a decorative gap on the border of your blanket or your washcloth, which requires no extra work at the end. So that's why I like making blankets out of the washcloth pattern. Okay, to do a yarn over, you're going to take your working yarn and you're just going to put it in front like that. You're just going to put it in front like that, and then you're going to knit. You're just going to keep it up front like that and knit a stitch. And then you just knit all the way to the end. Now, as your blanket grows or your washcloth grows, it's going to get longer and longer and take longer. The blanket I think I did 250 stitches before I started decreasing. So yeah. So the next row, again, it's the same thing, guys. As long as you're making it grow in size, it's going to be the same. It's the same row repeat. Again, first stitch, we're going to knit the first stitch. We're going to knit the second stitch. So it's knit the first 2, yarn over. Just bring your yarn up front and then knit the third. And then just continue to the very end. You don't have to worry about anything at the end of a row. You just knit. That's why it's so nice to be able to just like watch TV or something, because you really only have to pay attention at the beginning of the round, like the very beginning of the round, and the rest is just knit stitches. So again, we're still increasing. So we're going to do knit 2, 1 and 2. We're going to yarn over. So it's always knit the first 2, yarn over, and then knit the rest of the row until the end. And then you turn your work. And I'm going to do this for a couple rows just to get some size to show you how to make it into a rectangle if you want to make a blanket. Again, it's knit the first 2 stitches, yarn over, and knit to the very end. Again, I know I'm repetitive, but that's sometimes how people learn, and there's nothing wrong with that. Can't expect everyone to know exactly what you're doing all the time. You have to explain yourself. So again, we're just going to turn our work. We're still increasing, so we're going to knit our first 2 stitches, 1 and 2. We're going to do a yarn over and then knit to the end. And that is all it is, you guys, until you're ready to decrease or turn it into a rectangle for a blanket. This is all it is. Every single row is knit the first 2, yarn over, knit to the end of the row. I'm a little shaky today. I had way too much coffee. So we're going to knit the first two, yarn over, knit to the end of the row. Okay, and we're getting a little bit larger in size. I want to get a little bit more definition here so you guys can really see the decrease portion of it. And if you want to know the kind of yarn I'm using, it's Lion Brands 24/7 cotton, and it is in the color mint. So if you're curious. Again, we're still increasing, so we're going to do 2, knit the first 2, 1 and 2. We're going to yarn over, and then we're going to just knit to the end of the row. Okay. And this is literally all it is. And if you're curious on how I hold my yarn, because if you are new to knitting, one of the hardest things for me when I was learning how to knit was how to hold my yarn, because so many people held it differently on the videos. So how I do it, what has worked best for me, I take it and I wrap my middle finger around like that, and then I just have it wrapped. And then what I do is I hold it with, let me see, yeah, I wrap it like that, and then I hold tension with my index finger, and then I just use my index finger to wrap the yarn like that. But not that way. My way is not going to work for everyone. Some people like to do continental, which is where you hold the working yarn in your left hand if you're right-handed. I cannot ever get my tension right that way. So I just had to really play around and really just figure out a way. I experimented many different ways on how to hold my yarn until I came up with a comfortable way that held my tension and that I could be semi-fast with knitting. So it just takes practice. Don't get discouraged if you're just starting out. Okay, now we're going to say we want to make a blanket. So say this is how you're going to measure. There's one side here. Let me get my bigger example here. Okay, there's one side. Right now we're like this. Right now we have that little bit much. So if we turn it, this is going to be how long one side is. So right now where we're at, our one side is going to be this long. So if you're wanting to make a blanket, you take one side and you can throw it over your lap. You can measure it up against the bed to see how long you want your blanket. And then if it's wide enough for you, if that is the width that you're happy with, you can start decreasing on this side. And what I mean by that is, say we want to decrease. This is long enough. This is long enough for us. So we're going to get our stitch marker here. And we're going to put our stitch marker on this side, okay? This side that we're starting at right now, because we're done growing this side. We want to stop making it wide. We want to continue making it long, but we want to stop making it wide. So this is our width. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a stitch marker in here. And that way I know this is, well, if I could get it to close, you know, complications. Okay. I have my stitch marker on that side. Now that means I'm going to start decreasing every time I come to this side with the stitch marker. That is going to be a decreasing side. And this is what I mean by that. When you decrease, you're going to knit 1. Let me bring you back in. Okay. You're going to, let me get some more yarn. I'm just so prepared. Okay. We're going to knit 1. Now this is decrease only. We have finished increasing for our width. So now we are going to decrease on just one side. So on the side with the stitch marker, we're always going to decrease. And to decrease, you knit 1. And then you knit 2 together. Now, knitting 2 together, if you're new, can be a little tricky. It's still tricky for me sometimes, and I've been knitting for years. You're going to count 2 stitches. Here's 1, here's 2. You're going to go behind that second stitch, and you're going to insert your needle into both of those stitches, like that. So you're knitting 2 of them together. You're making those 2 stitches now 1. You're going to yarn over, you know, wrap your yarn like that. Bring it through, well, you know, sometimes. And then you slip off those 2 stitches, and now you just have 1 stitch. You've made those 2 stitches 1. Now, because we're decreasing and we still want to keep that border that we had going with the little nice decorative holes, we want to yarn over, and we want to knit the next 2 together also. Again, we counted back 2. Let me show you. Here's 1, 2. We're going to count back 2. We're going to put our needle behind that second stitch. We're going to insert our needle into both of those stitches, and we're going to knit them together. Slide them off. And then the rest of the round is just knit all the stitches. So you just continue to knit until you get to the end. Again, you really only have to pay attention at the beginning of every round. That's it, which is nice. Now, we're going to turn our work. Now here you can see we have our stitch marker over here, but we don't have a stitch marker here, which means we're going to continue to increase on this side. So when you start your decrease to make a blanket, you are only going to decrease on one side, and that one side is going to have your stitch marker. You're always going to do an increase on the side that doesn't have a stitch marker. And this is for the length of your blanket. So again, to increase, remember we've done this. We started the whole blanket with this. We're going to just knit 2, yarn over, and knit the rest of the stitches. Like so. And now we are back to the end with our stitch marker. So this is going to be a decrease round. Again, a decrease round is knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together. And then knit the rest of the stitches to the end of the round. Now, if you wanted to make a washcloth or a square, you would just decrease on both rounds. Once you start decreasing on one round, just start decreasing on the other, and the rest of the rounds will just be decrease rounds all the way throughout until you get to the end. If you want to make a blanket though, you only decrease on one end with your stitch marker. You always decrease on that end, and you continue increasing on the end without the stitch marker to give you length. This is your width, this is your length. And if we keep going, if we keep increasing, get some more yarn. Okay. If we keep, oh goodness gracious, okay. If we keep increasing, remember to increase, it's knit 2, yarn over, knit to the rest of the round, or to the end of the round, I should say, or the row. And I dropped my yarn, so now it's going to be a pain, but that's okay. No editing. And we're just going to knit to the end of this row. And when we increase, remember we are growing in length because we've already started decreasing. And the decreasing, the first side you start decreasing is your width. Okay, so this is our stitch marker. This is where we're going to start. We're going to decrease on this round. I'm trying to really, drill this into y'all. You only decrease on the round with your, or the side with your stitch marker. And to decrease, you knit 1, you knit 2 together. And remember, knitting 2 together can be a little tricky. Don't get discouraged. This is a good practice project. Knit 2 together, yarn over, and knit 2 more together, only on the decrease rounds. See, I struggle still. I shouldn't, but I do. Okay. And then you just knit to the end of the round. Okay, now we're going to say, how do you finish it? How do you finish it and get it all closed up and looking like a blanket? I'm going to show you. So see, we have our length here, our width here. See how it's kind of like a little cute little rectangle starting. Okay, now when you're done, you're saying, okay, that's long enough. Now you just start decreasing both rounds, both ends. So once you get to the point where you have your length the way you want it, you can just decrease both rounds. You can take out the stitch marker if you want to. Don't have to, because you're going to be decreasing both sides now. So again, a decrease is knit 1, knit 2 together. Sorry. Yarn over, knit 2 together. When you have the camera zoomed in, it's hard to stay within frame. And then you just knit to the end. So if I've come out of frame, I'm sorry. If I'm going too fast, I'm sorry. You can slow the video down in settings though if you need to. Okay, we decrease. We're going to turn our work, and they're just all decrease rounds. And all you're going to do is you're going to keep decreasing. You're going to keep decreasing until you only have 4 stitches left on your needle. So the minute you get 4 stitches, that's why I didn't do a very large example, because I want to show you. And I don't edit my videos, so I know you guys don't want to stick around for hours watching me do this, so trying to hurry to get to the very end to show you. But now we're just decreasing both sides because we are finished with our length. We are happy with it. So now we can start decreasing that side. Again, I'm not used to these wooden needles. I think it's pronounced Chiagu. Those are my absolute favorite knitting needles. And another thing is, if you're starting out, the kind of needle you use really will either encourage you or discourage you, because sometimes some of those needles are hard to use. Okay, so knit 1, we are decreasing still. We're just going to keep decreasing both sides now until we only have 4 stitches left on our needle. And this is me struggling, but that's okay because this is real life. People struggle in real life. Okay. Let me zoom out a little bit. There we go. Decrease round is knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit to the end of the round. 1 and 2. We are almost done. Are you excited? Okay. Knit 1, knit 2 together. And another thing I can tell you is when you're finishing up your work, is this corner that you're finishing right now is going to be stretched because there's so much weight pulling it down on the needles that it's going to look stretched and kind of wonky. I wash them. I wash my blankets and everything when I'm done with it, I wash it anyway, and it straightens right out. Like 2 together, and then knit to the end of the round. We're almost done, you guys. Look at that. Okay. Last one, I think, for decreasing. We're going to knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together. Okay, we have 4 on our needle. I almost said hook, but I didn't. We have 4 stitches left, and now when you have 4 stitches, we just got 4 stitches. This is what you're going to do. You're going to knit 1. You're going to knit 2 together, and you're going to knit 1. We are no longer yarning over at all. So we knit 1, knit 2 together, knit 1. We're going to turn. We have 3 on our hook now. So now for this round, we're going to knit 1 and knit 2 together. Like so. And now we have 2, and this is it. This is home stretch, guys. We're going to knit 1 and knit 1, and then we're going to take this one here. We're just going to bind off 1 stitch. Take that first one we did, the one back here, and we're going to pick it up with our needle like so, and we're going to bring it to the end, and we're going to slip it over the one that's still on our needle. And that's how you bind off. And then you take your scissors and then you, there's different ways to do this. Some people don't do a slip knot or whatever, tying it off like this. Take it and then you can just sew in your ends. But that's our cute little rectangle we made, guys. Are you excited? See how this end's kind of wonky? It's because there was so much weight and we were pulling on those last little stitches and it kind of stretched it. You throw that in the wash, you tie it, you sew in your end, throw it in the washing machine, whatever, and it will straighten right out. So there is our little rectangle. And that is how you make a blanket from a washcloth pattern like this one. Here's the washcloth. Now remember, if you're gonna make a washcloth, you just do decreases on both sides at the same time. Like every row will be a decrease row. If you're doing a blanket, so you want a rectangle, you put your stitch marker. After you get the width you like, put the stitch marker and start decreasing on the stitch marker side only. And continue to increase on the length until you get your length right. Then you just decrease on both sides. I hope this wasn't too confusing, you guys. I'm trying really hard to make videos that is easy to understand, and I want everyone to be able to knit and be happy. And this is a really good project for the beginner, and it's something they can really make. They can practice their stitching, their tension, holding their yarn, and you have something nice at the end because it is a blanket and it has a nice little border already added. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. And I say too much, so I'm sorry. But if you could like the video, that would be really helpful to me. And leaving a comment, it really helps YouTube kind of push my video out there for more people to see. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.